Hi everyone. I'm here with Tyler Williams from Bayer. We will be spending today a couple of minutes talking about the Bayer carbon program and how you farmers can take advantage of this opportunity. So welcome, Tyler.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great. So let's start with if you can give us a brief overview on what the Bayer carbon program actually is.
Yeah, so Bayard Carbon Program is it's I guess it's in the sort of its fourth or its third and fourth year out on the market. And what it is, it's a carbon program sort of based on carbon sequestration for farmers. We're eligible in 28 states across the US, so many of the crop producing states. But we focus on, primarily corn, soybeans, and wheat, but we're also open to like 12 total crops. And it's a program that we pay by the acre, so we're sort of a practice-based, acre-based program, all focused on providing incentives for new and recently adopted no-till, strip-till, and cover crop practices. Like I said, we've been doing it for 3 or 4 years, and this year in 2024 is we've that's when we really expanded number of states and the number of crops in the program.
That's great. And what specific regenerative practices are required actually to participate in the program?
Yeah, so what we focus solely on no-till and strip-till, and or cover crops as well. You can do both or one of those separately. We also have a nitrogen management option we're offering this year, sort of in the pilot phase of that, where you can utilize a nitrification inhibitor and a nitrogen reduction on your corn acres. Again, that's kind of new this year and testing that out, but primarily, we're based on no-till, strip-till, and cover crops.
And the nitrogen management part is just for corn,
Correct. Yep,
right?
just for corn.
Okay, perfect. That's super interesting. And how are growers actually compensated in the program today? And like, how does that normally look like in terms of prices?
Yep. What we do is growers are paid just a by per acre payment based off the practices they do. So in general, we pay $6 per acre per practice. So if you're doing no-till and cover crops, or I should say, are starting or recently started no-till or cover crops, you could get up to $12 an acre for those two practices if you're starting both of those. We have a look back period that goes back to essentially August of 2019. So after the 2019 cash crop, starting in the fall of 2019 of no-till or strip-till or cover crops, we are able to pay back to that point. So each year from 2024 back to 2020, we're able to pay you at the same rate. We also pay sort of in 2024, and then we go forward. We have 5-year agreements that can be renewed 3 times. So growers could technically get paid back 4 years if they happen to start the practices at the right time, as well as for the next 5 years. And then we have 3 renewal periods that can happen after that. But again, we pay on just the doing the practice and not necessarily the amount of carbon that is sequestered.
Great. And does the compensation so if it's by practice, then the compensation doesn't vary through certain factors, right? Like if they just got
Right.
the fixed payment that you guys agree in the beginning of the period, and that's it. Or is there some variation that might happen kind of like through the years?
It's primarily what the price at which we agree upon. Any given year, we occasionally will have other partners or someone that might be working with that will provide a higher incentive rate that we can increase that price above that $6. But for the most part, that's our payment rate. But we do when our opportunities come up and we're able to increase that price, and we pass that along. So essentially, that $6 is sort of the floor for that payment, and then there may be opportunities to increase just based off of what comes our way.
Great. And to understand a little bit better, like on one side of the coin, you guys have the farmer, which you're paying for the practices, etc. But who's the other customer on the other side of the coin, right? So that growers understand like why they're getting paid for these practices, like is this related to other markets, etc.
Yeah, we primarily run through the voluntary carbon market. So this is all voluntary work. We the way that we run our program is we have some that work in the offset market, so kind of generating offsets as well as scope three. We work with various companies, food companies primarily that purchase corn and soybeans or whatever crops in certain areas that we could then work with on scope three emission reductions. Purdue and Mars is a couple examples of those. But really, that's who we work with. But we bring people into the Bayer Carbon Program that gives sort of flexibility to generate an offset or to generate a Scope 3 emission reduction.
Understood. And also, and I wanted to understand because we get this question a lot, kind of like from growers. Um, like if we were talking about like that offset price or that carbon credit in the voluntary market,
Mhm.
how much of that price more or less, what it's sold, you are paying actually growers, right? In the end, like how much more or less the growers get on the actual price.
Yeah, and I think it changes a lot. It changes all the time, almost every year. And so that's really why we go to the practice, sort of the practice and acre-based payment, is so farmers don't have to worry about the fluctuation in carbon credit price. Everywhere from $10 per credit to 30 or $40 per credit is kind of the fluctuation. But again, then it also varies significantly based off the amount of carbon that's sequestered in that year, and as well as the crop type that is grown. So you see just a lot of variation, and that's really why we went to a per acre payment method, is just so it's sort of a flat fee or flat rate for the grower to know and sort of be able to plan ahead as far as what they're actually going to make in that year.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You try to give some stability and growers knowing exactly how much they'll
Correct.
get paid.
Yeah.
Um, and let's talk about because the Bayer Carbon Program and the Foreground Program are related, right, in some way. Can you explain there a little bit about the dynamics between the two programs?
Yes, yeah, for sure. So Foreground is essentially our platform. It's our regenerative ag platform. It's a website. It's sort of a membership that anyone can sign up for. It's free. You essentially sign in and you then get access to our agronomy team. We have a bunch of agronomists that can be able to help growers. We also, write a bunch of content and have some of our own research trials and things like that we provide to people that sign up for Foreground. We also work with some different collaborators on, discounts on equipment and seed and services that might be out there from other companies that they want to provide to growers that are doing this. And then this is also where you find the revenue streams, such as the Bayer Carbon Program. So again, we always have growers sign up for Foreground before they even enroll into the Bayer Carbon Program or maybe other revenue programs that come down the line. So again, Foreground's kind of that platform, free. You sign in with FieldView, or you can create a free FieldView account. That's what you log in with. And then it's really kind of the place to find everything that we're doing and the opportunities that exist for the farmer in their area.
That sounds super interesting. Do you have like discounts or other type of like incentives for growers there in the foreground platform?
Yeah, we have a few. We have some on like I know like Great Plains, for example, gives a discount on a drill. I think Sound Ag gives a discount on some of their source products. And I don't want to forget anyone, but there's a like discount on ETS Soil Warrior strip till machine. You get discount on Climate Field View if you want that. So there's just a number of different things there that just try to hit. Really, the goal there is to try to help reduce the cost if you're starting these practices. If you're starting no-till, you probably need a no-till drill, those types of things to, if you're going to plant your cover crops and whatnot. So that's really what the purpose of that is, to try to just bring some of that in. to them to have a contact and maybe a little benefit and cost reduction for starting practices.
Great. And how do growers can get started? Like, can you talk
Mhm.
a little bit about the timelines and like actually how it works, the enrollment period, etc.?
Yeah, so people can sign up for foreground anytime, anywhere, free, just log in. That's the first step to being able to join the carbon program. So they sign in there, they use their climate field view, they log in, and then that is where they can see and enroll in the Bayer carbon program if that's the direction they're headed. It pulls in their fields that have been mapped in climate field view, and if they don't have any fields yet, they can go into field view and map those. And then they can answer questions on tillage and cover crop practices, and it lets the grower know what fields are eligible and what their estimated payment is. We have open enrollment year round, so you can sign up anytime throughout the calendar year for that year's program. What happens then is at the end of the crop year, we would collect that crop year's information, and if they're new growers, we'd collect also any historical information that's necessary. We do that through the winter. We do little QC, data management on the back end to make sure we have everything, go through all the information, and then we typically issue payment each year in the spring for that previous crop year. So again, we think about the whole crop year is like maybe the calendar year, and then we issue payments the spring of the following year.
That's amazing. So you can sign up anytime through the year.
Correct.
It's not like you're actually rushed into a specific date.
Yep.
And there, how do you support maybe like growers that are less familiar with these programs, or they might have some trouble getting the data?
Mhm.
Is there any way you actually guys support them?
Yeah, so we have carbon account specialists at almost every state, kind of depending on how many people we get in. But we have carbon account specialists that really that's their full focus is dedicated to help with the data collection, help with the information that's necessary, really kind of answer the questions on the process and the steps. We're connected, and very heavily with climate field view. So any data or information, farming information that's in there, we can pull that out as well if it's in any other farming system. The carbon account specialist can help at least the grower get that gathered up and pulled together. So to try to make the data part easier and knowing what information you need, what you don't. But those carbon account specialists are really key in that part.
And do you have any integrations with other platforms that could help the process?
Yeah, so we're directly tied in with FieldView, but within FieldView, they connect to nearly every other ag platform out there. So if you need to pull in any data or information, you can do that inside of FieldView and connect other platforms together, which is one of the benefits of having FieldView and that access is it connects to it has a lot of APIs to other digital applications that can try to gather that information for the farmer.
And data is a very kind of like sensitive topic
Mhm.
for a lot of farmers, right? And so I think it's good that we discuss there a little bit, like once the data is submitted, like why do you guys actually require that type of data, right? Like what is it used
Mhm.
for, and how it translate actually into those carbon credits or the offsets, etc. Like walk me through that process a little bit.
Yeah, so the data requirements are all simply necessary to fulfill the models that are used to model the amount of carbon in the soil. We use sort of two methods. We do soil sampling and modeling, so we try to stack both of those together just to try to be a little more accurate. But we still rely on models, just because you can't measure every inch of every aspect of any field. So we model the best, at least the best of the models can do. But it takes data to model that. And so all the data that we ask is basically just directly to be an input into the model, such as planting and harvesting info, fertility, manure, cover crop information. That's all an input into these biogeochemical models that then estimate the amount of carbon that stays in the soil in any given year. And that's what we do with the data is we bring it in, we try to run the model. But then this data is only used for that purpose. So we're very sensitive to privacy and data control, and the farmers own their data. We use it just for modeling purposes for this program.
Great. Thanks, Tyler, so much for answering all of my questions. Is there something else you'd like to add?
No, I would just tell people to sign up for Foreground. It's free, doesn't cost anything. You're not committing to anything. BayerForeground.com is the way to do that. And it's just a nice way to stay up to speed on some of the offers among many that are out there. But it's just a great way to stay up to speed and kind of following along at least with what we're doing at Bayer with our programs.
Okay, you've heard it, everyone. Go sign up. It's for free. You'll get just probably like a bunch of discounts in the beginning. You'll be able actually to snoop around. You guys have actually a calculator, right? Like that people can like type stuff in and
Yep.
see how much they can make out of their acres, even before signing up for Bayer Carbon. So yeah, go check it out. Thank you so much, Tyler, for your time. Um, and yeah, hope to see you around.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.